What characteristics would your nemesis have if you had one?
Go
Oh,
first. I
uh,
was about to say something stupid.
I would say sarcasm to match mine, and probably intelligence to match mine as well.
My nemesis would have the ability to unbelievably get his ass beat by me every single time, nonstop, back to back.
Uh,
Unbelievably.
Oh man. Oh man. Would your nemesis be a masochist then?
I don't know what that means.
Someone who derives sexual pleasure from pain.
I didn't say he enjoyed it. I just said that's his skill.
All right, all right.
what
My
about
point
you?
there though. Um, hmm. My nemesis would be someone who mm, is always right there to catch up to me. Like if I'm doing if I have an accomplishment, that person is right there on the cusp of either one upping me or catching up to me, and it will keep pushing me to get better.
Mm.
That sounds a little weird because that just means like you're fueled by not letting them do better than you.
Yeah, competition.
Yeah, I like competition.
No, that's a hater.
Hating competition is hating.
No, trying to make sure that creating a random that's random though. Like I don't
Well,
want this person
I
to do
wouldn't be
better than
actively
me.
holding them down. I would just be improving myself constantly so that they would never pass me. I'm not doing anything to hinder them.
It's like, let's say you're trying to find a cure for something, they would both be like right there about to discover it. But like, who wins? Does he win sometime, or do you always win?
I
I
would
mean, I
say
guess
he
if you
would
have a
have to win
goal, like
sometimes.
if you're going for something like that, but like his nemesis is just this person that like they're doing like this random person like me, and he sees them doing better, and he's just like, I can't let this person pass me in stream numbers, so like I gotta go harder. But it's like, why? Why can't they surpass you?
Yeah.
They want to be the best. That's how everybody gets to be the best. They constantly strive to be number one.
But in that case, if you want to be the best, you need to be the best. And if you are the best, a person who is the best wouldn't have to watch someone and only be able to do better when that person is catching up to them. In fact, that person would never catch up to the person because they're the best.
I don't know about that. I think like there's people in history who have had people who were catching up to them and then they improve each other because of the fact that that other person was catching up. And maybe they didn't consciously think about it like I'm going to actively try and never let this person pass me. Maybe they never thought about it like that, but I think on a subconscious level, if you have someone who's like a competitor, they actively push you even without you knowing to do better even though you're the best. It just might not be a conscious thing. Like mine is conscious because I know that that person is my nemesis, and they maybe have declared like I'm gonna pass you one day in whatever, and I'm like, no, you never will. It's kind of like this anime I'm watching is about Go, like people playing Go, and there's this one kid who he's like a genius at Go, and then there's this other kid who never played it before, but he's like rapidly improving. And he's saying like, I'm gonna beat you one day. And the other kid's like, no, I'm never gonna allow you to beat me. I'm always gonna keep getting better and better, so you never could surpass me. You can never catch up. And the other kid still is trying to do it, and he may do it. So I think that's kind of what I was thinking about.
No, I get you. I always, my brain always has to break things down and question everything that doesn't make sense. For instance, like for me, that just sounds like a complex of like needing to be like the coolest in the room kind of deal. Because like, if a kid walked up to me in an anime or whatever it is and is like, I'm doing really good in something, they're like, I'm gonna surpass you and beat you. Personally, I'm just like, all right, good luck. Because like, if you beat me, then I wasn't that good and you were just better. And if I cared about not being beat, which I don't know why you should or would, then I would have just been that good myself. Like I would have just been that good. So like if I cared that much, like I would have worked harder before anyone came up just to make sure I was just like so good. So like for me personally, yeah, I just wouldn't. If a person wanted to challenge me or make competition, I guess I'd be like, nah, I'm good. It's just like if you're better than me, then just go be better. And if I'm better than you, I've just always been that person. Like I don't like kind of like social plugging. I don't need to plug my social stuff like that. My content will speak for itself, kind of deal. It's the same thing with that. It's like I don't need to compete with people. If I'm better than Ninja or an Aiden Ross or something like that, then it'll just show. I'll just be better. I've never had anything like push me to be better or something like that. I've been my only motivation. Only thing that'll happen from like seeing someone surpass me, it'll just make me aware, oh, I thought I was doing really good and was like way above the next person, the next skill level under me. And really I was only doing this good because this person went and did this much up here. It just makes me aware of how much I'm not doing, but it doesn't push me like, oh, I've got to pass that guy. It's just, okay, someone's doing better. I'm not doing as much production as I thought I was, or as much that it takes to really stay in the new bar for first place.
You
I
know,
guess that makes sense.
that makes me think of there are two different types of people who are competitive. Sometimes people are competitive by like competing with others, and then some people are competitive by competing with themselves. So like I make a time as a runner or whatever, and then I'm competing with myself to beat my own time. And then you have other people who are like, this person has the world record, I'm gonna beat the world record. So like I think there are
Nope,
two
I'm
different
neither.
types of competitive.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead. Go ahead.
and
Sorry.
then of course there's people who are neither. Like I'm not competitive at all. I'm
I'm
just either good or I'm not.
I'm the kind of person. I'm a lazy first place. I'm a lazy completionist, is what I call it. In the sense of I don't care to break a world record or anything. I just need to obtain first place. If first place is 1 point above you, that's all I care about. I just need to obtain first place because that is the best. And if I need to be better than that, then I will be to keep first place. But I just care about doing the bare minimum for first place, and that's it. Because typically in my life, doing anything extra never netted me anything extra, and I don't care about satisfaction or gratification. So
I feel that.
That sounds like me. But when I was streaming with one of my previous people that were I used to call a friend, they would always be like, "Let's do ranked, let's do ranked." I'm like, "Why?" Like, I don't want to get sweaty. I don't want to get extra competitive for no reason. I just want to enjoy the game. I know ranked is a better quality of gaming, maybe, but like, I just want to play. I don't want to have to choose the right character for the right situation. I just want to play this character. But if you do ranked, you can't always pick who you want to pick because then people are gonna like flame you for picking this character because they're not the meta or whatever. I'm like, I'm good. He's like, no, we gotta do ranked. We gotta be the best. I'm like, you can't even play the regular game properly. How are you gonna do ranked? Like, you're not ready for ranked yourself. But ranked is just such a head builder. It's like, yeah, I'm in ranked. I'm playing ranked. Like, I don't care.
yeah,
Thanks for telling me that, bro. Because I remember when I would try and get you to play MOBAs with me, I would want to play ranked. Uh, but then we would lose, and then we'd be like, okay, let's just play standard mode. And we actually had more fun playing standard. But I didn't catch on at the time. Like, let's just play standard only and never go to ranked. So now I know.
I mean, if you're really, really good, ranked is definitely for you. But I'm never that person to want to be that competitive in a game. Like, I would like winning, but not like at that level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I've competed to want to be the best of a certain character in a game or something like that, but I wasn't motivated by myself and I wasn't motivated by anyone else. It was just like, this is the skill set my body can produce or work up to. And if that's the best, then it's the best. And if it's not, then it's not. I might be compelled to see if I can push harder if someone shows me more as possible, but that's only because I I'm just pushing to see what my limit is. Like if I think this is my limit, then someone does better, I'm like, okay, so it's potential I could do more and I wasn't aware of it. I just felt this is my limit. So that person didn't inspire me to get what they got or anything like that. It's just to see what I can do. All right, let's see what my actual limit is. And then I go to that limit. And then another person goes even beyond that. And it's like, okay, there's more I could do. Let's see if I can reach that limit. it's more or less just testing myself. I just like to test myself to see if I can reach what is considered the best.
I think I got you.
And if someone else takes higher than that, and this is as far as I could go, then that's whatever. I wasn't the best, but I was something. I guess I was able to settle with the idea after failing at a lot of stuff that I wasn't going to be first in a lot of things, if anything. So like after a while, my competitive, it just kind of went out the way, and it was just like starting to be satisfied with whatever I could get.
Yeah. I think like I've never been, well, I wouldn't say that. I haven't often been like the top of anything, but for some reason I still have that competitive spirit where I still want to strive for it. And I think for me, I don't care if I ever become like the top of anything. I don't care if I am the best or not. But I think for me, it's kind of fun to compete. Like if I'm competing with myself or with someone else, I find it fun. I even find like sometimes not necessarily losing, but learning from a loss. I even find that part of it fun.
Oh yeah, like I have fun with it for sure. Um, no doubt. I guess I I just personally don't like competing with someone else or competing against like it, for me, like when you're competing, like, oh, this guy's beat me, I'm not gonna, or he's about to beat me, I'm not gonna let you beat me. It feels like I'm competing on someone's shadow, and I refuse to be that. I refuse to be to sit in the shadow. I am the caster of the shadow. That makes sense. So like, I don't like to focus on competing because if they surpass me, I'm in that shadow. If I'm never in the competition, I can never be in the shadow. So it might sound a little selfish, but when I realize I can't be the best in this game or something, I take myself out. I don't get my chance to stand in that shadow. If I know, like, oh, this game right here, I'm really good at, yeah, I'm playing that because, or putting more time into that because I don't have to worry about having to compete with someone or try to achieve someone or this person's the best. I had to look back, sit back in life and like not be the first like crazy gamer to make streaming big or something like that. Different things I wanted to achieve, I wasn't allowed to do that. Those are shadows I do have to live in for the rest of my life. Those suck. So like, and like I was at one point in a place where I was competing to do better than this person or to achieve what they're doing, but do it better and take not get them not just gather my own attention, but take some of theirs too. Not in a hostile way. It didn't even matter who it was. It didn't matter who the person was. Just whoever was on top, I'm taking your stuff and I'm gathering some of my own too. I was at a point like that, but not only realizing I was never going to reach that, but then also realizing that everyone has their own different success kind of took me from that. Everyone has their own bringings that make things easier, whereas I had things that made it harder. So this person was able to achieve what I wanted to a lot quicker than I was, stuff like that. So competing sometimes in my mind can be kind of dumb because like we don't always start on a level playing field. You know, like in the Olympics, this runner might have just started being able to train when they turned 20 and are now entering when they're 24, where this runner has been doing gymnastics in Olympics since they were, you know, a kid because they grew up in a family that was able to afford the lessons or the, you know, the gym fees or whatever to do that kind of stuff. So it's like, how is it really fair to compete, you know? So mentally that's how I look at things. So I just like all right, no, I do compete, I play ranked mode, stuff like that, but I tend to try to not because of that.
I like that you brought something up that I like people not having a level playing field. That's a topic we could probably do an entire podcast on just because like
That's
as you
topics for
said,
days.
like yeah, like if you're a person who has a rich family, you're probably getting a head start compared to someone else. But I think the only thing I would say in regards to that is I think you could still compete even with that. Yeah, it's unfair. Like a person who has the advantage has an advantage, which in and of itself is literally means it's unfair. But then there are people like what's that boxer's name, man? He has a tattoo on his face.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Mike, yeah, like Mike Tyson, he started off at a handicap. Like he was poor, he was working
Yeah.
full time while boxing, and he still became number one. So I don't like even with a handicap, some people are still able to compete and surpass everyone.
Well,
So
see, that one is different though because it's always situational. Because with boxing, it's all about strength, so it really doesn't matter about money per se, like to a certain extent. Because Mike was given the qualities that would make him a good boxer, like they're literally on his person. So he could have came from a rich background or a poor background, he still would have dominated because he was just big and strong. I mean, you could go down to, he could have had a different trainer, which would have thrown variables in the mix and probably would have been a big factor. But yeah, that one's a lot different than someone who makes a career off of, let's say, making content, and you need computers and such to do so. So money's going to be a factor there, which
yeah,
was my example in mine, when saying that was like wasn't able to come up as fast as some of your streamers in today's community, top streamers, because they had that money to have equipment even back when it was crappy to make videos and whatever. I couldn't even get a camcorder kind of deal. So that's where that I feel is different than the boxing example.
that's fair. That's fair.
I feel
What do you
like
got to say, Juan?
when it comes to competition, for me, things like playing, let's say, Paladins ranked or something like that. I know I'm not gonna be number one, but that in itself is very variable because you got a different team every time, and that's why I like Paladins on a whole because every match should be different. Let's say that because you're going to match with all your teammates, they're not actually playing to play, but like when you're going to rank, every match is gonna be different. It's not gonna be the same people you're playing against or people playing with, and you could always change the strategy to like attack the right, attack the left, but like it's always gonna be different. I think when it comes to that, I'm okay with that kind of competing, but it still gets exhausting after a while. Like you have to think through everything and know where they're gonna go. And I just want to play, man. I just want to shoot, pew pew. Let's go, start over. Let's go again. Like I've never been a competitive person. When it came to like the spelling bee, I was always third place by choice. I was like, okay, I'm done here, and I'm done. Third place is fine with me. Like I would just mess up on purpose and then just go sit down and watch. I didn't want to be in Washington doing a spelling bee. No, that's okay. I'm good.
See, I was opposite. I did do those things. Like I tried to do the best, but not. It wasn't like I'm gonna beat this person. It was like no one else was around. It was just like I know I can spell all these words. Like the challenge is to spell as many words without messing up, and I knew I could do it. It was more about spelling bee is about going flawless, not about being spelling more words than this person. In the end, technically, I guess it is because I made it to round 18 of spelling words where you got eliminated here because you spelled it wrong. But you're
Mhm.
not really competing with them, and maybe that was a good way for me to start because everything was like that from like then on. Like when I'm playing in PvP, it's not about like if I'm playing free for all in a shooting game, it's not about, oh, he's at 22, I've got to hurry up and beat him or do better. It's about the goal
Surviving.
is make it to 25 points and do it rather quickly. And it's like I know I can do that. Or I guess it is comes down to like I know I can do that faster than everyone else, but it's not like I know I can do it faster than you. It's just like I know I'm fast as fuck. I don't care how fast you guys are. I just know what I'm doing is gonna win.
Mhm.
I think I understand your mentality. So your mentality isn't competing. Your mentality is just doing your
Reach the
absolute
goal.
best.
Yeah, reach the
Yeah,
goal in itself.
yeah.
And
So
even though
basically,
technically I'm supposed to reach the goal faster than them, but I don't know. I don't even, I guess it's like mentally my brain goes, you're already better than them. You just need to make sure you reach the finish in the first place. Because if you don't reach the finish, it doesn't matter what they do. They did reach the finish. So that's like my only focus is like reach the finish and make the goal and just assume that what you're doing is leagues better than what they're doing. I have too
yeah,
much
yeah.
confidence in myself, I guess.
Nah, that's never gonna
I
So
already
happen.
assumed I
basically,
beat you by the time I showed up. I just am
so
competing kind of with
basically,
myself.
it's like no, it doesn't make sense to compete because you feel that the only thing that matters is doing your best, and then you're either gonna be the best or you're not. The end, kind of thing.
If I come to compete with you, I'm assuming there's a chance I'm gonna lose. I don't ever assume there's a chance I'm gonna lose. So I'm not here to compete with you. I'm already at the finish line. I already won. If you show up, in my opinion, it doesn't mean it's a loser mentality, but in a sense, yes, that if you show up ready to compete, you're still racing. There's still a chance you can lose. I don't give you the opportunity. So that means we can't compete. We're not here to compete. I'm just here to watch y'all run. I'm already at the finish line. I'm just here to watch
That's
mentally.
good. That's good though.
That's good. On the other hand, you did mention that if you don't do the best, you just move on to the next thing, kind of.
Yeah, like I mean, it does like bother me. It only time I'll get bothered is not that I lost, but that I knew I shouldn't have. Like I had the capability of not losing and I didn't. Like any you ask wanted any if someone's doing bad or something, it's obvious I'm gonna be like, man, with bad teammates, blah blah blah. But typically, like in my solo play, a lot of times my viewers will hear me whenever they're there, will hear me say my aim was crap, or I could have did this better. That I typically don't go, oh, they're using like you'll never hear me be like, oh, they're using this weapon or they're playing like this or that. Every now and again, it might come out because like some things are annoying, like a noob tuber is definitely annoying. But even with a noob tuber on the field using a grenade launch or something like that, even still, I'm like, I could have outplayed that. There is definitely a way to outplay it. Might not be a lot of options, but it's there. And instead of focusing on how they use something that narrowed down my options, I just focus on how I could have found that option. Until it becomes impossible for me to win, I don't start blaming other stuff. So like,
yeah, similar. So whenever I play games, a
try
lot
not
of
to
times,
anyways.
whenever I play, like I mostly play MOBAs, right?
Mhm.
Um, what I notice is a lot of people, whenever they're playing, they blame everyone, basically.
Everything but themselves.
Yeah. But when I play, I'm always thinking about, okay, what could I have done better here? Or, okay, this mistake, this thing happened. How is it? What did I do to contribute to that? How could I have done something different? So even if that person maybe is absolutely their fault, maybe, but what could I have done better to make sure that even with them making a mistake, we would have still won? You
Yeah,
know,
that's
stuff like
that's my
that.
mentality too. I call it the carry mentality because like you'll get on any game and you'll see top streamers carrying people in Destiny, this or that, or just being super cracked. And I'll sit and think, and I'm like, okay, even though you played like complete crap, there are other people who are out here carrying teammates that play like that and win in the game. So I'm like, obviously, it's still potential for me to win. I don't want to and shouldn't have to, but it's still potential for us to have won the game with you doing that bad had I did something differently. So yeah, like I that's what that I think keeps us thinking like that. Maybe you haven't put those two together, but I just think like there's someone out there that's doing it. It's definitely possible. It's just not favorable. So when they're doing bad, I'm just like, all right, yeah, even though you did really bad, I still didn't do enough to carry because we could have won. It's obviously possible to carry, and
I
I
could
didn't.
vouch for that.
So what happened that on my part, even though I shouldn't really be, I should be like, bro, you didn't get any kills or do any damage. You really shouldn't even be blaming myself. But for me, someone who's worried about that and rather just be so good, I think about what could I have did to carry harder.
Sometimes I don't really like when you do that because it's like it's taxing, to be always trying to carry everybody else. And not saying you should blame them, but don't blame yourself so hard for it because it's a team effort at the end of the day.
The
Just
only
my two
problem
cents.
is even in a game where it is a team effort, I obviously can't rely on those people, so I have to rely on myself. So even
Yeah.
though it is a game where it's supposed to be a team effort, it's
Hmm.
not, and it's a solo effort. So I have to beat myself up because I'm the only person I can count on, IRL and in the video game.
Yeah.
Literally. Yep. Which is why I guess we kind of went full circle because now it's like this is why we need friends to play with in these games. So
Hmm.
then we don't have to worry so much about like I have to carry. It could be like more collaborative.
I do
Yeah.
that IRL too, like in a video game, I do that. But then recently, I had a situation where a person did something not so favorable to me that I am in no right to blame myself, but I'm not even mad at the person. I just got mad at myself and until this day still am. It happened about a month ago, but like mad about like how did I fall for that? How did I get myself in that situation? I
Mm.
should be 100% mad at them. Like, yeah, like you're crap for doing that. I don't, if I seen him in person, it's like, you know what? GG, you got me. I'm not even mad at you. I should have been mad at myself for falling for it in the first place. That's how I do in video games and IRL. It's like not even mad for what I got caught by. I'm mad at myself for getting caught by it.
Fair.